Nobody knows who I
Yeah,
really
that is an ED. That is
am.
true.
I never felt this
You
empty
can stop. You can.
before.
You can stop now.
Alright, so dude, don't you just love Bleach?
Dude, Bleach is so fucking good.
It
It's my
gets
third
all the
favorite manga.
stains out every time.
Hey, what?
It gets all the stains out
Shut
every
up. You're
time.
not funny. I loathe you.
Alright, so the first take is actually a certain video with a lot of bad takes, and you've probably seen it because it's probably the most might be the most viewed Bleach video on YouTube aside from like actual clips from the anime,
Like
I think.
analysis video.
Yeah. So the Fall of Bleach by Super Eye Patch Wolf. I actually like this guy.
We watched the 4 years later, so his Redux,
Yeah.
which was still bad.
Yeah, and like this wasn't a take in the Redux, but like in the original video, he said that Kubo got axed, which isn't exactly what happened. Uh,
He also said some nonsense where Kubo was given like
five chapter.
like out of nowhere, which they do for actual canceled series,
Yeah,
but
but
not
like
something with like almost 700 chapters.
I know, like the part of the narrative is just like, ah, dude, Bleach just got so bad that Weekly Shonen Jump had no choice but to axe it. It said, Kubo,
Yeah.
man, you've lost your mojo.
Rectified.
You're old news. You got to kick you out of the magazine. You have
no,
five chapters to finish your thing.
Which is a take he stole from Reddit and then popularized. So even though he doesn't believe it anymore, a lot of people probably still do. So for the record, Bleach was not canceled. Kubo, like most mangaka, got very sick and kind of just powered his way through the ending.
Yeah.
Which you can really feel in the I would say the castle, the final trip to the castle.
Yeah, I'd say like the couple.
I think you can really feel that.
The last couple volumes, especially. I think.
Basically, unfortunately, Ichigo, Chad, and Uryu's final fights. Unfortunately,
like it's so like weird. You get like two of a volume worth for like Shunsui, and then another volume for
and
Mayuri,
and then like Kosuchi and his daughter, but not for like the main cast, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, it does suck. It sucks
And
that
like you can like literally tell when Chad's fight would have started. It's so sad.
Yeah, I know. It's like Ichigo, you go on ahead. Leave these guys to me. Then
When he gives like
and
a
then
speech to Ganju about like his entire ideology with Ichigo, and it's like, oh, this was gonna be a fight.
Yeah. All right. So, getting back on track, dude, did you know that Soul Society is the best arc ever because it aired on Toonami?
That is what I want to say. That here, I like Soul Society. It's probably it's probably like out of the 5 Bleach arcs, it's probably my 4th favorite.
And there's 5 arcs, right?
Yes, so I'm saying I like it more than Substitute, and that's it.
Yeah, just I see where the love for it comes from because obviously,
obviously, Soul Society is great. I think all Bleach arcs are great.
Yeah, it's just that I think it's literally just the. I don't want to call them nostalgia F words because you keep telling me to stop using that word, but they just seem like nostalgia bros, like a lot of them do. Yeah. It's a very common thing because, that's why the take I have here is because it aired on Toonami, because that's when people first saw is when it aired on Toonami when they were kids.
Yeah, it's a lot of it. It's kind of just like the big hype one that they saw is the one they remember the best and they like the best.
Yeah.
It's kind of simple. If we could talk
Super
about why
yeah, in Super Eye Patch Wolf video, like he brings up sales a lot as like proof for like quality of views, which
he always says these are just objective, they don't prove anything, but then he clearly tries to weasel it to say it proves something.
Yeah, so and even then, like in his like narrative, right? Like Waco Mundo is like a bad rehash of Soul Society,
even though like
that's when so the whenever he brings up sales, he kind of has to like treat it like it matters, but also it doesn't because I disagree with sales, and
it matters when it agrees with me. Look how bad Fullbring is.
Yeah, it's a weird inclusion.
Got axed. Wow, it's nothing.
It's a really weird inclusion.
Well, that's because Super Eye Patch Wolf loves doing objective analysis with his opinions, but sometimes the way he does it is it feels like he's trying to use one to prove the other, and it's really messy.
Yeah.
Not a good video. All right. Anyway, falling off of that, his Hueco Mundo take. Everyone's made fun of him for this because it's fucking stupid and he's illiterate. He complained that Hueco Mundo is a boring depiction of hell.
Which, like, if you think Wakamundo is boring, like, fair enough. You don't like it. You
I
don't
already
like
disagree with that. I think it's, but the problem is you're already looking at it wrong because shocker, people who've read Bleach, or I guess even seen the Bleach movies or read the spin-off, the sequel chapter would know this, which he didn't know at the time, but he still read the manga where it got mentioned. Hell is not Hueco Mundo.
Yeah. It's like chapter like 8 where they like introduce hell. And
Yeah,
it's like, oh, this is where the
where
bad
the guy goes to
hollows
hell.
go. Where bad hollows go to hell when they get like
Or
exercise.
just bad soul.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a hollow. Because like Yamamoto went to hell.
Yep.
No, basically the point. Hueco Mundo works at what it is because it's supposed to be like the empty vein where hollows who are hollow, their empty souls live. So
Yeah.
it's an empty desert of sand made of the bodies of hollows.
Yeah. And deserts are even like known for being devoid of life, and that's kind of like what hollows, which
And
are
this
like ghosts,
and this is a
are.
desert that doesn't even have like a sky. It's just like dark all the time.
Yeah.
And then Aizen made a fake sky.
Like if you don't think it's the most interesting location, like I agree. It's not like the most interesting location in Bleach, even though Bleach has like only 4.
Oh, going back to his Soul Society thing, one take he brought up is he pointed out Soul Society is supposed to be like symbolic of like teenagers entering the real world.
I think that's a
Here's the
fair
problem with
reading.
that. That's full bring.
Yeah, you're right. It's just that like I
Full
think
bring is literally that.
I think it's a fair reading because like youthful rebellion is a thing in like most shonen, and like the whole thing in Soul Society is like, oh man, you're just blindly following the rules and letting your sister die. Fuck the rules. We're gonna do our own thing and save Rukia. Like that's the deal. It's like I get where that comes from.
Although that doesn't work because like part of that youthful rebellion is people like Renji and Hanataro who are young for the Soul Society, but they're not teenagers. They are grown adults.
I guess if you had to take it home, you could say like, oh, they're like old enough to be integrated into the society, but still like not so old that they like get to have real influence in it. Maybe.
Although even then like
again, I think it's a fair reading because like it's consistent enough, and like if you connect with it in that way, like that makes.
It's
a lot
also
of sense.
just messy in other ways because it's like, what about Ichigo's friends who didn't? Are they not facing the real world even though like Tatsuki's like a champion?
You need magic powers to face the real world.
Martial artist and like
you need magic powers to become an adult.
His twink friend literally couch surfs milfs. God, that's such an insane character. All right, yeah, that was I don't love it. It kind of just feels like a thing where it's like he boils it down too much. He did that with his Tepu video too. I didn't like his Tepu video, and I like Tepu. All right, and then ultimately he brings up the phenomenal point that Soul Society is just a rom-com. They're the same thing.
Yeah, they kidnapped a lady, and then the boys were like, "We're gonna get the lady back."
Mm-hmm. And then Ichigo fights a big guy.
Uh-huh.
Then and then an Ikaku.
Uh-huh.
And then did he even bring up Ikaku?
I think he may. I think he said like a fight crazed goon, and it was like Ikaku, and then like the Arankar with like the tornado kicking powers.
We'll get to that, and then a guy with an animalistic fighting style.
Oh, I have something to say about that one.
And then a black and white guy that he beats by using his hollow power before turning back and having the true victory. Problems in order. The big guy Ichigo fights, Ichigo doesn't beat him, Chad does. Also, it's like a 3v2, so stupid. Also, like the guy Ichigo fights in that comes back to help him, and it's his buddy. Whereas they just kill those hollows.
Yeah.
And then Ikaku is nothing like the tornado guy.
Yeah, the tornado guy was like, oh, I used to be like, at one the Espada, like in the top, and I want to try and earn my place back in Aizen, so I need to fight Ichigo, have an honorable 1v1 with him. Whereas Ikaku was, just like I'm just a horny dude.
Yeah. Also just like small things like in the fight, tornado guy tries to kill who is in his eyes a child to trick Ichigo into fighting harder.
Yeah.
I guess brought up in the novels. Nell was like, you dick, you tried to kill me. And he's like, who? He's like, "Oh, you were the kid I tried to kill? My bad. Sorry about that." Oh, whoops. It's very funny.
And the whole like rival with animalistic fighting style is just like, dude, that's all the Arankar are like have an animal theme going on with them. Like you could look.
No, I would say Grimmjow is easily the most animalistic in how he fights. But the thing is, Renji's like Shikai, his Renji's Bankai to be specific looks like an animal. His Shikai, what he fought Ichigo with, is just like a long sword. In fact, Renji's so technical with how he uses it that Ichigo fights him by memorizing his pattern.
Yeah.
So like, not exactly animalistic. Like calling Renji animalistic is hindsight bias. Because Renji didn't have any of his animalistic traits until after he lost to Ichigo, so it doesn't actually make sense.
I think he had one because he would to activate his Zanbakuto, he would say Roar Zabimaru, so that's like
that's nothing though.
Yeah, but at least it's something, I guess.
Okay. And then he brought up the point that the problem with the with Soul Society compared to a Arankar is that we learn so much about the people we fight in Soul Society. And they become such interesting, complex characters where we don't learn that much about, like, the Arankar, for example. And that's...
In comparison, it's true. Like comparatively.
But it's like a fundamental misunderstanding of what you're reading.
Yeah. Because the Soul Society is basically the main cast for the next, like, 400 chapters.
Yes.
Like they're the ones fighting the Arankar.
Yeah, like the Arankar fights aren't there to explore the... Sometimes they are there to explore the Arankar, like Ulqiorra and Grimmjow. Yeah. But oftentimes the Arankar fights are there to better explore the people from Soul Society. Like Byakuya's fight is him facing off against the ideas of authority and protecting his pride, which is Rukia. What a good fight! I like that fight a lot. It's just stuff like that. It's good. Or like Noitora versus Kenpachi is phenomenal. This is this little incel bug man being like, I hate women. And Kenpachi doesn't say anything because the strongest person he knows is a woman.
Yeah, I know, and like the thing is like
later.
I love how Noitora is literally just like a sexist fight horny asshole, and he's still like managed to be like compelling in a way.
Oh no, I love him. Noitora is also one of the, we'll get to that later, but Noitora is one of the best characters that uses Bleach's obsession with crescent moon symbolism.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like a misunderstanding. And even then, like, certain Arankar, like, less Arankar get explored, but that's intentional. And the ones that do are still really good. Like, even just the villains in general. Like, I really like Grimmjow, Noitora, Stark, Baragan, and Ulqiorra.
You know who I really
including
like?
What?
You know who I really like in Arankar?
Who?
Tosen and Aizen.
No, I was gonna get to them. Tosen, Gin, and Aizen are also there. And I was mentioning, like, other ones are still good, even if they're not, like, crazy good. Come on. Yeah, it's kind of goofy.
Also, like, about the comparison between Soul Society and Arankar is that, like, you can't tell me that Byakuya and Rukia's relationship is the same as Ulqiorra's and Orihime's. Like, you're just lying to me if you say that.
Oh no, yeah, that's...
If you think it's you think just the premise of it is a little samey, like having like 2 rescue arcs in a row, like sure, I don't disagree with you, but also it's not the criticism you think it is what I'm
There's also a lot of different vibes to it. Like in Soul Society, it's like a long thing. Like they have the weeks of prep time once they're in there, and once they're in there, there's like times they have to spend hiding out in like the sewers or in huts because it's like a long process to find Rukia. Whereas in Hueco Mundo, they literally jump in and literally beat the shit out of the first guys they see and are like, where is the castle? And then they find it, and then they just raid the castle for like a few hours, and then they get Orihime. Another one is he points out that like they're similar in ways that are like intentional. Like I think of like the throne room compared to the captain lineup. That visual comparison is intentional, and it's because it's interesting because the whole point of Soul Society is like they've had the same Captain General for the last 1,000 years, and so they've been at this peaceful era for 1,000 years. This is an old society with old traditions and rules that are hard to break and be manipulated by Aizen. And then you compare it to the new society, which is one Aizen manipulates because he made it recently, all things considered. It's like
from scratch, pretty much.
Yeah, it's a fairly new culture that's being forced upon them.
Yeah, that's
So,
why that's why they have like an animal motif, because they've basically been living as animals, most of them, for like
yeah,
the past.
they are monsters forced to act like humans because of Aizen's power, and it's interesting. There's interesting dynamics there, like how like the most contentious it gets in Soul Society, excluding like Aizen, he's the manipulator in both arcs, is like Kyoraku being like, Yamamoto, I can't let you kill Rukia and shit, man. And then you compare that to like the most contentious shit in Arrancar, where it's like Grimjow kills Loopy.
Killing people and like betraying them behind their back.
Tried to kill Nell. Grimjow did kill Loopy, and Loopy was the guy who replaced Grimjow for a little bit, in case you forgot, because he's kind of forgettable if you haven't read the novels. And then on top of that, you also have like Berg, I can never say his name right. Skull Guy's final act is literally trying to kill Aizen, his king.
Yeah.
Because he's the ex-king who got it's interesting. There's a lot of interesting shit there. Also, no, the whole reason Super Petrol does it is because he does this whole fights either need to be technical or thematic, which, first of all, I disagree with. If a fight is only technical with no themes, that is not a very interesting fight to me. I don't like that.
It can be. I think it can be.
No, it can be, but I think to me that'll always be less worthwhile as a fight. Like, it can be fun and interesting, but it'll never be like a fight that sticks with me.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, and then the reason he says Bleach fights aren't thematic is because he just says, well, did you know that the Arrancar that beats up Ikkaku with the magma hands doesn't have much of a character, which is like an anti-point.
Yeah.
And also, like, he says Grimjow doesn't have that much going on, which I strongly disagree with. I think Grimjow is like literally the best example of Hollow's need to evolve and how it like destroys them, and then that interacts with Ichigo in cool ways, and I like it. All good stuff. What else? He says so much dumb shit about Orihime. It gets me mad. It's my favorite arc.
I remember he says, like, I think like about Ulqiorra, he says like, oh, there's like implications of interesting stuff, but like none of it's like, actually like explored and stuff, which I think is just like because Bleach is a tad bit subtle. Some things fly over people's heads. Like, we'll talk about some people later who don't even understand Kenpachi.
That's not subtlety. That's illiteracy.
No, like, yeah, no, like, quite, no, but honestly, like, it's just that they never like.
No,
they never say it outright, like in dialogue, but like clearly it's what's happening. But still, yeah. Some people think, well, like Kenpachi has 2 Bankais.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. All right. And then Fullbring bad because if you're an anime only, I get why Fullbring's bad. Because Puff, I think what I compared it to is it's like, what if Naruto took like ended temporarily, not after Sasuke retrieval, but after like fucking rescue Gaara.
Yeah. And
no one would like that much. It'd be kind of... Or like if One Piece took like a 10-year anime gap after Fishman Island. Or Punk Hazard. Everyone would be really confused. Why did you do that?
Yeah. But what's cool about Fullbring? What do you like about Fullbring? How is it a good arc then?
It is the arc that explores Ichigo's vulnerabilities more than any other arc.
Yeah. It is, because because like usually most of the time
the best thing about that arc.
Yeah, because like when Ichigo's like head, like he has to deal with all this supernatural bullshit, being a substitute Soul Reaper and all that. But like he always has like a normal life to get back to, and like that's always nice. He always like wants to eventually come home to his family and his friends and all that, and have a normal life. But now suddenly there's someone fucking with that, and that's like the scariest thing in the world to him.
Yeah, it's cool.
It is really
good. Cool. It's also interesting because it's both the first. Because at first it's crazy because Ichigo steals himself to kill Tsukishima, which would be his first time killing a human, and then he doesn't. But then he kills Ginjo, so it is his first time killing a human.
Yeah.
And it is like interesting to see Ichigo get put. It's also cool because like it's like the actual exploration of like characters like growing up and evolving. And Ichigo, because I think it's a much better, like, Ichigo feels like out of place and like he's losing everyone. In context, because he lost his powers and all his friends are disappearing, and also Tsukishima's a bitch. But also, the other thing that's going on is everyone's like growing up and getting jobs and shit. So it's also the feeling of like adulthood coming on, and that transformation. So both of those feelings being paired together through his conflict is really cool.
Yeah, I remember someone on Twitter described Ichigo as like born to slice of life, forced to battle shonen, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds pretty accurate.
That is super funny.
That sounds pretty accurate. Yeah. One thing I really like about Fullbring is just the powers itself, because like every Bleach arc again is like Ichigo like going to a new like realm in the thing, and then like learning what the people are like there and how they use their powers, and eventually learning to use those powers himself. And Fullbrings are cool because they're in the mortal world, like the world of the living, so it's all like based on like physical objects and like their attachment to material things and stuff like that, which I thought was cool.
Yeah. Minor novel spoiler for you, Puff. You haven't read them yet.
Ruh-roh.
This is not confirmed. This is me theorized. It's theorized that maybe part of Fullbring power comes from scraps of the Soul King ending up inside of people, and that's why the hollow attacks happen in the first place. Which
nice.
which cool, because the point is the Soul King is part hollow, part Fullbringer, part Quincy, part Soul Reaper. So it's cool that like and like Fullbring are at their peak the most busted powers. That's not a contest. They are like reality breaking.
No, like literally, yeah. No, literally, it's like you introduce like in Bleach, like 99% of the time, it's just like raw like power against power fights and stuff like that. But like here, it's like no, we have someone with a stupid JoJo-esque power now. Like we have Tsukishima who can touch you and like change your history itself or whatever the hell.
Or like the guy who makes deals with the Time God. What he can actually do with that is so insanely broad. Or like another one is because like even just like comparing it to Quincy's. When he gives himself the Time God allowance of strength that Kenpachi killed him in, that strength is in the novel stated to be on par with the Quincy of strength. So like it's good.
Yeah, that that pink-haired girl with like the giant bazungas.
Yeah, or even the little shit with the lucky punch. Ginjo literally sees his power and says, "Tsukishima, kill him later." That is an insane fucking power.
I'm just imagining now what happens if he gets a lucky punch on Uobak. What does that look like?
Does he just die? It's yeah. I think that's cool that humans have the powers that I would say have the most potential. Oh, I also love Ginjo being a fucking liar, where he tells Chad, "Oh, Fullbring don't really evolve. They kind of just like materialize and then stay there." Ginjo, you lying cock. I do love him for that.
Yeah. And another the overarching theme of like is like trust. Like does Ichigo trust like his friends, or like they don't really trust him now they no longer has his powers. They want to protect him like behind his back, and Ichigo doesn't like that. He wants to protect them like up front, but also in the past he has also had that problem of like not trusting them to defend themselves and trying to be the big super main character boy and do everything.
Also, it's cool how Ginjo, outside of the Quincy shit, has the exact same power set as Ichigo. And he's like an old, disgruntled adult, so tying in the whole growing up thing. Ginjo is an evil Ichigo.
Yeah.
He's an Ichigo who, when he learned of what the Soul Society did, snapped and just started fucking killing things. And what's really cool is even though I call him evil Ichigo, Ginjo doesn't go to hell. Meaning
that is interesting.
Meaning that when, because what happened is, Soul Reapers came and killed his friends, and then he started killing Soul Reapers back. And that means, whenever he was killing those Soul Reapers back, he was justified enough in that he didn't go to hell.
Yeah, I wonder if there's like I wonder if there might be like a rule they introduced later on that maybe like, killing Shinigami or like people who are already dead doesn't like count as a sin. Maybe it's only the world of the living. And killing people
I
there
hope
that counts.
not.
Maybe not.
I think that'd be less interesting than just it turns out Ginjo actually had like some defensible stuff in what he was doing.
Yeah.
Also, killing people who are already dead probably does send you to hell. Because like I get Yamamoto killed a lot of living people, but he also killed a lot of dead people, and he's in hell. Yamamoto's killed a lot of people in general. Yeah, Fullbring's good. Most of the critiques are just like the whole thing of all Bleach fans bitch that everything's a Soul Society knockoff. But when we finally get something fresh and new, they all whine that it's not like Soul Society.
Yeah.
Because, Fullbring isn't this giant, sprawling adventure. We don't really go to that many places. And we only meet, like, 5 guys. and then we just bring back the captains, and then they fight, and it's fun. I like how the fights are just like Kenpachi versus the concept of time, and it's like Kenpachi doesn't really like
fuck your concept of time, and he cuts it in half.
Kenpachi's like, I don't care, I'm old, I'll die in a while. Yeah, it's fine, who cares? And then it's like, a kid prodigy who rejected all the adults to be isolated versus Hitsugaya, who has similar beef. Except Hitsugaya is not an angsty loser who refuses to have friends, period. Just kind of angsty. Oh, Tsushima versus Byakuya is fucking awesome.
Oh, no, it's great. That was a great one.
Dude, Byakuya grabbing a fistful of fucking petals and punching you with it? That's sick as hell.
I know, and it's like, ooh, he's like, like fighting more rashly and not like in the past I used to, where he's always like super calm, cool, and collected. And, he's doing this against someone who, like, looked into his past, saw, oh, you're like this, you're always calm, cool, and collected. And then Byakuya, like, sort of
No, that's what's kind of cool about Byakuya, is after his Ichigo fight, all of his big fights are focused on him evolving and developing as a person.
Yeah.
Which is cool, I like it. Because his whole thing was that he was really static during Soul Society. And then Ichigo vs. Ginjo is very good, and I like it a lot. Good arc! I like it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice. I will admit, I think a lot of the hatred does come from it being where the anime left off for a long time, because that is an annoying, like, Fairy Tail ending with Tartaros. That Tartaros is Tartaros and then Zero. That's a very clean place to cut off for several years.
Yeah. I remember I think there was this filler episode. I could be wrong about this, but I think there was a filler episode, or like a filler arc maybe that happened after the Aizen thing. But Ichigo still had his powers, and the idea was just that like Ichigo was like slowly losing his powers, and then like I just remember this one scene where like he's fighting a hollow, it's like I really have like no Reiatsu left. This will be my final Getsuga Tencho. Then he like cuts a hollow in half, and then it's like, well, I'm done. Goodbye, Rukia, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, I guess we should also address the whole, isn't Fullbring bad?
It would be so funny if in someone's head that was the ending to Bleach, like the ending.
That'd be funny. Oh no, I guess I should also bring up the whole thing of, it's lame because it gets rid of the cool idea that Ichigo loses powers, but it's like, it addresses that idea openly. While Ichigo giving up his powers to save the world is very, like, romantic and, like, a fun, tragic ending that's, like, also not that tragic because he saved the world. In reality, Ichigo, as a person, cannot live like that.
Yeah, because, like, he's protector number one. He's got
So it's taking the cool idea and then exploring the actual ramifications of a character like that being forced to go through that. I like it. It's good.
Yeah. Alright, so now that we defended that enough, so did you know that Kubo, like, in just the Blood War specifically, stopped drawing backgrounds?
Yeah, only the Blood War. Also, backgrounds are the main sign of if an artist is good at drawing or not.
Yeah, just like, people who, like, point to that as, like, proof that the art fell off. Like,
that was a super eye
neither of us agree that the art fell off, right?
No.
Yeah, so, like, and the thing is, like, there's been, like, no backgrounds, like, consistently, like, I'd say, from at least a Rancor, at the very least. Maybe before that, but, like, I remember there's a lot of, like every time an Espada transforms into the Resurrection, there's no background, like, at all. Yeah. Like, every time.
And the thing is, like, obviously backgrounds are cool, but, like, Bleach's use of dead space and negative space, not dead space, fucking dumb, is very good, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, I especially love it when it's used for the attacks, because, Ichigo versus Ginjo is a good example where, like, he just cuts the mansion half from behind, and so, like, half the background is just, like, just this diagonal, like slant of white going across what was a house.
Well, and another super eye patch wolf thing, when he made, because, like, he redacted the background complaint, but in his original video, he made that complaint during, like, I think after the weekly had ended. So all the volume releases weren't out and translated to English yet, where, shocker, there were probably more backgrounds, or more detailed backgrounds, because that's a volume release.
Yep.
So, yeah. Just, like, trying to jab at Bleach's art is so confusing. What are you doing?
Even if the artwork, like, did fall off, like, I bet even if I go back to, like, the weekly scans or whatever, I'm willing to bet that artwork was still like the best shit coming out of Shonen Jump at the time, except for maybe like My Hero Academia. I think.
Oh
like
no,
that's
no,
the
yeah, no, I
only
stand
thing
by.
that's like the only thing in my mind that I feel like could compete with Bleach, because I feel like Kubo is just like head and shoulders
Yeah, no,
the
I
best
stand by
artist
that.
they've had that I'm aware
I
of.
think
At
in
least.
terms of the most talented weekly artist of all time, I think actual weekly artist, not your weekly schedule, but you show up every fucking 5 months. That doesn't count. Kubo is, I would say, number one for me. Number two, I agree, is Horikoshi. Number three, maybe Okubo with Fire Force.
Fire Force did look really good.
Yeah, if I had to guess, obviously we're probably forgetting something and saying because we're stupid. But generally speaking, not Kubo being number one. I'm pretty confident. The art, because he's a fucking weekly author. I can't get over that. Like the fucking like Phoenix page from Soul Society. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
He did that weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a monster.
All right, so we kind of talked about this with her already, but why is Ichigo everything?
Ichigo is everything because Ichigo is the Buddha.
Bleach is Buddhist? What?
If you read like the volume poems, that you should, a lot of Ichigos talk about his world, and the point is the whole world is Ichigo's world. Ichigo's world doesn't change, or it expands. Ichigo's world expands as he learns more about it. And he learns more about it by learning more about himself. If you, for some petty reason, just think a guy having 4 powers is like lame into DeviantArt OC or something, even though Ichigo doesn't act like a DeviantArt OC, except for maybe like his final hollow form where he gets the half horn. That's kind of DeviantArt.
No, the thing is, like, I would say like he does, because I am willing to bet he like inspired a ton of DeviantArt OCs.
That is true. He did do that. But like outside of like a vibe check, which like if he doesn't vibe with you, whatever, I don't care. His powers being that way are really cool. Also, they're foreshadowed like a lie.
Well, I mean, I feel like the Quincy foreshadowing could have been like better, because like there's not like one like clear like scene or hint that like you could point at, be like, oh, there's definitely something up with Ichigo and Quincy's. It's just Zangetsu having some like very mysterious dialogue that comes back around into being that he's a Quincy, which like
the main thing it's less so that Ichigo has Quincy leaning, like Kubo basically left himself an out, where basically the point is Ichigo doesn't have suspicious hollow leaning powers, but what he does have is this weird fucking old man in his sword, and we don't know who the fuck he is. Because he's not Zangetsu. Who is he?
Yeah, I know, like, it's kind of, I think what me and, like, this is what I thought when I was first watching Bleach for the first time. So I think what me and most people thought was that Zangetsu was, like, his Soul Reaper powers, and that White, the Hollow, was, like, the Hollow powers. Like, White was the Hollow, and that was the Soul Reaper powers. And that was,
even though when you look at it, that doesn't really make sense.
I know, because, like literally, like, as I was rereading, one seemed like, oh, okay, alright, Kubo, you get me this time, is when White literally screams, I am Zangetsu, like 10 times in a row.
Yeah. Or even the fact that, like, when Zangetsu fights Ichigo, he doesn't care that Zangetsu looks like him. He says, oh, he has a white, I'm going to say it wrong, is it Shakusho, whatever the fuck, Soul Reaper guard. He points out that white Zangetsu has one, which is like, oh, he has one, not his Soul Reaper powers, supposedly.
Yeah. And one thing that's actually interesting, which I'm not sure if this was planned, but like it's just very convenient that it's like this. Quincy's all wear white. Mm-hmm. So it's possible that that white Zangetsu is just supposed to be like have a bit of Quincy DNA inside him, although like that is supposed to just be the other Zangetsu. Like, it's possible, like, especially when in that form when the two of them merge in like the Bankai state, and he just goes to fight them, which is literally just what his perfect Bankai ends up becoming.
Yeah. Oh, other cool things. Oh, you know what's kind of fun to think about?
What's fun to think about?
So you know how this is like half theory bait, but you know how Tensai Zangetsu looks like young Yubak?
Yeah.
So his ultimate Bankai, that's what, because we all know that Bankai have their own like physical beings that are slightly different, though they can't. Like Kenpachi has one.
Yep.
So his ultimate Bankai looks like his Quincy power. And what happens when he uses his ultimate attack that includes Quincy powers? He loses all his spirit pressure. What does the ultimate Quincy technique do?
It's the thing Uyu did when he, like
Well, you
broke
lose all your spirit pressure. That's kind of cool. That might be
Yeah.
a coincidence, but I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. All right, so again, like Bleach is just a story about like a guy like every arc he'll go to a place, learn about the people there and how their powers work, and then eventually integrate into like his own skill set, and that's just what he does every arc. So even if it was never like planned for or foreshadowed very well, like it's still like on brand for what Bleach has always been. So I can't really complain too much.
Yeah, or even just like one that like obviously like this is a bit late, but like with the first time you see Yubak, you might be like, oh, he looks kind of familiar, but you're like, Kubo has a lot of characters. Maybe he just reminds me of someone else, whatever. And then they reveal he's Yubak, and you're Yuhaba is how they say. How do they say Yuhaba? Is that how they say it in the anime? I want to copy what the anime says.
I don't know.
I think it's Yuhaba. I'll say Yuhaba. Yuhaba. No, but
when reading weekly, I called him you watch,
which is really dumb. But that's fair because a lot of translations they kind of spell it that way.
Yeah.
No, but when you basically when you look at the the Quincy powers inside Ichigo, and they show him next to Yuba, you're like, oh, I'm fucking stupid. I should have gotten that immediately. It's literally him. Like one that everyone points out is when he tries to tell Ichigo his name the first time, he can't say it, and the blackout is the same thing that's done when Ichibei writes out someone's name. So, yeah, good job, Ichibei.
Yeah, and like one cool thing is that like when Ichigo like his hollow powers start taking over when he fights Byakuya asks like, oh, who are you? And he says, I have no name. Is that because Zangetsu is like like the one with the black coat is like overtaking, still like Sora's still kind of in charge at this point, and so white Zangetsu can't like say what his actual name is?
It could be that. It could also be that Zangetsu's incomplete.
Yeah.
Because it is. A lot of incomplete Bankai in early Bleach. Solid half of them, I'd say.
Yeah. Which is very, very convenient for Kubo, so that he can evolve them later, but like also like they were introduced.
Most of the ones that are incomplete are young characters, so it makes sense.
Yeah, like Byakuya has a line where it says after achieving Bankai it takes like 10 years to properly use it, so like that kind of just makes sense with what he says.
Yeah, and like it makes sense. Renji literally awakened his I think like a few hours earlier than Ichigo did.
Yeah.
Hitsugaya is a young prodigy who became a captain in the last like 20-ish years, so he hasn't had Bankai that long either.
Yeah, and what's the first example of a Bankai like having different like stages or forms depending on how you say its name?
I don't know actually.
Byakuya's, and he's like the second one we see.
Oh yeah, his Bankais. Oh, that's one thing I like about Bankai. Sometimes Bankai can feel like kind of generic and simple, but that's because we mainly think of like Ichigo, who does like two things. But what's cool about Bankai is the longer you've had them and the more you train them, the more insane they get. Because I like doing is compare like how many things Kyoraku and Yamamoto's Bankai can do compared to like what like Soi Fon and Ichigo's Bankai can do.
Yamamoto has like 5 names in his like true Bankai.
He has like 5
North, South,
Bankai.
East, West.
No, he's great. I love him. So
Yamamoto
much.
is one of my favorite characters, and when I make my Bleach video, he's gonna have like the 3rd longest section, I think.
It's gonna be a long. All right, what's next?
All right, so do you remember that old Bleach rewrite we saw like a few years ago?
Oh, the person who's like, here's how to fix Bleach. Get rid of all the characters.
Yeah, and so like the funniest point that I've always remembered was Ichigo's characters and Tatsuki should all combine into one super character so they can have 3 times as much development.
No, his idea is clearly we're wasting space here. Ichigo doesn't need 2 sisters. That's stupid. Also, one's a trad wife, which is sexist. We need, even though the other one isn't. We only need 1 sister. Also, Orihime has a friend who's connected to Ichigo as a kid, may as well be his sister. Fuck it, combine all 3. Orihime's best friend is a middle schooler.
It's like, all
No,
right.
it's just
I feel like the thing that guy was really missing was just it's cool when characters interact with other characters, even if those other characters aren't important or integral to the
no.
plot of the story.
We had this with the Shonen versus Seinen video too. Oh, people that don't understand the appeal of giant fucking casts really hate giant casts.
But I remember another example in this video was like in the flashback with like Ichigo's
Oh, he
parents
also wanted to
and
get rid of
Uryu's
Chad,
parents.
which is super funny.
No, in the flashback when he was talking about like Ichigo's parents and like Uryu's parents, he said that Uryu's like grandmother should be removed because we don't need her. She's barely a character. She doesn't do anything. It's like, but we need Uryu's dad to interact with someone older in the Quincy things to try and to like show a struggle of upholding Quincy tradition and stuff. You can't have him do that without having interact with an older Quincy character, and having it be one of his parents is like the most logical choice. So why would you remove them for like what, the sake of giving like Uryu's dad just more lines? Like, he needs lines like the lines are more meaningful when he's talking to his mom, even if the mom herself is not very important. And like the same
he says Apple. You can keep going.
And the same is true for like Yuzu and Karin, where like you've told me this, where they'll process grief in different ways. Like Yuzu's trying to like replace their mom and like like do what she did and like fill the gap that she left behind, whereas Karin is just kind of like kind of bummed about it and not very energetic.
She like disassociates.
Yeah,
like she literally rejects the fact that she can like see fucking ghosts. She disassociates from everything. Then you got Ichigo, who takes the route of being a mopey nerd. He was the one who felt most direct with what actually happened. No, they say a lot of things in that video. Like they talk about, first of all, they say Karakura Town and not Tokyo, which is hilarious. Because Karakura Town is canonically a suburb of Tokyo in the Bleach manga, so that's fucking funny. And then they say that like, oh dude, this is to avoid the government getting involved in Bleach, which is like, that's not like a smart plot hole. Soul Reapers can wipe memories.
They can.
What government?
What's the government gonna do when ghosts come and just erase their memories?
The ghosts they can't see.
What, they're gonna fight? They're gonna fight off the ghosts?
Like, literally, what would they see? Like a big light in the sky from a Getsuga Tensho, and then like fire from Yamamoto. And everyone's like, "What was that?" And the government's like, like a firework or something? I don't know. Firework, maybe. We'll look into it, I guess.
All right, so next we have this is a complaint that I think is valid, but also it's kind of just like you can always ask for one more thing.
Yeah.
We don't see all the Bankais.
We don't see, what is it, 3? Okay. If we include Zero Squad, we don't see a lot. But I don't fucking care. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Let's go in order. The novels are canon and good, and you should read them. So we do see Shinji's and Hisagi's. But you should. They're good. I promise they're great. So
I'm gonna have to read them for my video anyways, because I wanted.
So you will see Shinji and Hisagi's if you actually go through all of Bleach. The ones you don't see are, I guess, well, the anime added 1 Zero Squad. It won't surprise me if they add more. So you don't see Captain-wise. You don't see Isshin's, which would have been kind of neat. We're alluded to what it is by Aizen. We don't see Aizen's, where we've both talked about this. A lot of people have. The funniest explanation is that Aizen doesn't have a Bankai, and he used his Shikai to fake it. Yeah. When he got like promoted to captain. Because it'd be so fucking funny if Aizen, who's like so self-aggrandizing and like so self-confident, was not able to connect with his Zanpakuto enough to Bankai.
Alright, but I feel like the way I kind of thought about it was just that like because he like merged with the Hogyoku, like he evolved beyond what a Soul Reaper ever could be, so like he felt like he was beyond his own Bankai, which
and if we want to do hyper logical, you could say like his Aizen is, maybe his Bankai like is like slightly inconvenient in any way. Like it reveals who he is. Maybe it undoes the hypnosis. Maybe it takes a lot of spirit pressure, so Hado is more convenient. There's a million explanations, but yes, it would have been cool to know what it did. That would have been neato.
I think Isshin is the one big one where I feel like, all right, we should have seen it. But like again, like, that, I feel like that the moment they were gonna show it was eventually like cut out because Kubo was dying and couldn't like add an extra volume or two at the end of the story.
Yeah, and like at least we can like semi extrapolate what it was, because we know that his Shikai is Getsuga Tensho but on fire. And we know that his Bankai is a strain on his body. So I imagine his Bankai is quite literally Ichigo's, except a fire cloak, so it really hurts, and you can't use it that long.
Yeah, I kind of just assumed it'd be like literally Flare Blitz from Pokemon, like a really strong attack that just hurts him a lot. And, you know, it's like a self-sacrificing attack or something, and, you know.
It would have been cool to see. And then the third one is Yoruichi's. It's like, Yoruichi doesn't use her Zanpakuto for a reason.
Yeah, like, because the captain of Squad 2 is the assassin one, right?
Yes, that's
so the captain of Squad 2 is only supposed to use their Zanpakuto for, like, assassination, execution.
Yeah, Soi Fon has a line where she says, once the captain draws their sword, that is labeled an execution, and whoever they draw it on has to die.
Yeah, so
it makes sense why Yoruichi would train in other ways.
Yeah.
Because Yoruichi's not bloodthirsty.
Yeah. So, like, her, I'm fine with. Aizen, like, I would really love to see it because I love Aizen so much, but, like, I can like, accept it why it was never shown.
Isshin is just like, that would have been quite cool if we got to see it, though.
Yeah. Like, I'd say, like, just Isshin, and if the novels didn't exist, which, like, you know, they do,
Thankfully
I guess. So, it's just, like, I would have really loved to see Shinji's, and,
and Shinji's in the anime is lame as fuck. Because it's a filler scene. Shinji's in the novel is one of the sickest fucking scenes of all time. I won't say what he does, but I will say that while he's doing it, he complains to himself where he's like, man, if I got to try and solo the Stern Rittner, I would lose, but I would have killed so many of them. Great. I like Shinji a lot.
Yeah, alright, so next is a really, really bad one.
Oh boy.
Alright, so dude, did you know that Kenpachi has 2 Bankais?
God, I love how illiterate Best Guy ever is. Okay,
alright. To be fair, this isn't just him. This isn't just him this time, because he's in a.
This is friend.
Alright, so I'll link this little podcast down below.
It's bad.
Like, it's a very
warning. It's bad.
It's a very old one, so like just keep that in mind. It's, like, you know, these they were maybe like they were reading weekly, and you know this was like what, like,
I think
8
it was like
years ago now. 8 years ago now.
So heads up, the podcast, if you listen to any of it,
it's
half amnesia from weekly reading and half like
possibly bad
scans,
possibly bad scans, possibly.
And then like also like most of the other commentary is like Best Guy Ever being like a 4chan adjacent meme lord. So like bad jokes and bad analysis is the podcast.
Yeah, but like it's funny when like basically they were like they were talking about how like Yatru, like, you know, and how they all thought Yatru was going to be Kenpachi's spirit, like the Zanpakuto spirit.
Yeah.
But then they just dropped that plot point and we never found out. And just like, well, wouldn't that have been like the perfect way for his character? And it's like, dog, that is how it ended. How do you not realize
that? His Bankai?
Yeah, it's just like, what do you think Yatro showed up, said, hey, want to do a Bankai for no, like, how do you interpret that without, like, no one else saw Yatru there. You two guys are like, oh, it's a little girl, right there. It's like, no, she's gone now. She just lives, the reason why she disappeared is because Kenpachi finally learned the name of his sword, and so she no longer had to manifest 24/7 trying to, like, tell Kenny what her name was.
And then they joke about how funny it would be if Kenpachi was so strong, his Shikai has a Shikai, and it's like, that literally is what happened. Kenpachi
his sword had a sword.
And also it's cool because the monsters Yachiru summons, they have swords, and their swords look like his Bankai, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, but like the thing is, like the thing I said before about how him having 2 Bankais is just like, well, ignore all the Yatru stuff. How do you explain Kenpachi having the big axe, like, you know, his normal sword, the big axe, and then the little axe with like the red skin? How do you explain those 3 stages without one's his Shikai, one's his Bankai? Because according to Best Guy Ever, Kenpachi's, like, the normal sword was his Shikai. Like, he says that with complete confidence. He says this is his Shikai, and then somehow he has 2 Bankais. Yeah. How the fuck do you read that?
Even though in order, what happens is literally during Soul Society, we're told all captains have to have a Bankai, except for Kenpachi. Like, we're like, he is the exception. And then even after Kenpachi fights Ichigo, who is in Shikai, arguing with his Quincy powers and his Zanpakuto. Actually, he's arguing with both. about his powers, and he beats Kenpachi using them. Kenpachi, who lost because he couldn't do that, looks at his sword and says, "Why won't you tell me your name?" You can't have Shikai without knowing your sword's name.
I know, that's like a huge... That was the whole point of the fight! That was the whole point of the fight! That just flew over his head, I guess. No. Like what? No, you thought he was just so strong he broke the rules of the power system or something? Like, what?
Yeah. No, even though I'm pretty sure you and I agree on what he did. There's a scene in Blood War where I think Akon says it was theorized Kenpachi had a constant release Zanpakuto, but that was rejected.
Yeah, so
or like maybe Ichigo, or maybe that was the theory they had about Ichigo's Zanpakuto, that his was constant release, and then the conclusion was, oh, that's not a thing. Oops, never mind. Because as we learn, because like with Zangetsu, it's like Zangetsu didn't have a sheath, which is bad. Bankai have sheaths, and then we see that swords have sheaths. Then we see that where he beats Yubak because his Bankai was a sheath, and inside Zangetsu was the sword.
Yeah, so it's just. Oh man, like
it's just like illiteracy. It's just like confident illiteracy. I think the reason it's so annoying about Kenpachi is because Bleach's characters mostly develop through fights. So Kenpachi, who is the most fight-centric character in the series, has the most easy to follow progression.
No, he does without and like I can maybe forget, maybe like back in the day, like he was reading like a bad translation. So when Byakuya maybe when Byakuya said that line about like constant release Zanpakuto, he said, Kenpachi's was a constant release Zanpakuto, and that's all the line said.
Maybe he read a really shit translation.
Yeah, maybe it was just a bad translation, but like God.
But the reason I don't believe that is because his podcast is the only group I've ever heard that from.
I know, and also, like, I was reading Bleach Weekly when it ended too. I didn't get that impression.
No, I feel like Kenpachi's development was hard to understand. Now, the question of what does his Bankai do besides make him big and strong is, like, probably just that. Just that.
I have a fun theory that maybe, like, the reason why his skin turned red was because, like, early in the arc, we see, like, Zombie Girl when she, like, pumps so much of her blood to someone.
He's doing that.
Yeah, so like I think what's happening, like how Unohana, like there was the red pool of blood that like forces spear pressure into, and then the white one that takes it out. My little theory is that like Kenpachi is just now like a wellspring of the red stuff. He's just overflowing with so much power, which is why like his arm gets torn off when he like swings too hard.
That could make sense.
Yeah.
No,
it'd also be fun because Bleach. It gives him like.
And I was gonna say, I like that about Bleach, where a lot of the powers, you know enough to vibe, and then the rest you can infer with not brain dead theories, but like takes that make enough sense and are cool.
Yeah, because like that would give him like some parallels to Unohana, who's like Bankai was clearly based on those pools and the stuff like that.
Yeah,
so I thought that'd be cool.
By him.
Yeah, so I think that'd be cool. All right.
Oh, also, back to Bankai. We didn't see the Squad Zero Bankai. I don't care. The anime mentions that they're not allowed to Bankai except for Ichibe because they'd fuck up the spirit world, so there's the canon reason. And also, I don't care. They were cool without it. Sword Guy killed 3 of the top 4 Sternrittner, and then Yuaba had to res them. Cheater.
Alright, I'm not gonna lie, like, if you think the Squad Zero was overall, like, disappointing, like, of course everyone loves Ichibe, but, like, besides them, like, fair enough, they're jobbers at the end of the day.
Fight for is Sword Guy, because he killed 3 of them! He did that! Yubak had to cheat and res them.
And also, Taylor Lady, like, literally just, like, insta-killed one of the Sternrittner, which is just,
She did do that. A Sternrittner who had powers that I'm not sure how even, like, Ichigo would beat.
He'd do a big sword slash, and hopefully that.
He would like have to brute force it like so much that even if he tries to wrap it around, it still hits him. He would have to try something that's stupid.
All right, so next we have Tatsuki Wank.
Oh yeah, people really like Tatsuki, which is like good for you. Like who you want, right?
You like tomboys, that's fine. You have a type, that's cool.
I mean, there's better tomboys or whatever. And Bleach, there's better whatever. But it's just like the thing, like, Tatsuki should have had powers. It's like, why? What?
It's a very, it's a very popular take that Tatsuki was, like, one of the most likable characters, and therefore they should have been, like, part of that core cast that got powers and stuff. Which, if you really like Tatsuki, like, it seems like, it's a fair take, but a bad criticism. Because like
No, it's
if
equivalent
if you
of
want more
like
Tatsuki, like sure that's who you like. Of course you want more of them. But also if you feel like you're entitled to more Tatsuki or the story needs to have more Tatsuki, I'm just gonna look at you and be like, man, you just
oh no,
really love this
remember
Tatsuki
Best Guy Ever
guy.
said? Best Guy Ever said not only was Kubo originally going to have Tatsuki be part of the main group, he said Ichigo's horny friend was originally going to get powers too.
Oh my god.
Tatsuki, like, I think you're wrong that Kubo planned that. I think Tatsuki pretty clearly exists as, like, a strong person in real life who gets protected by Orihime, someone seemingly weak who becomes strong through her spirit pressure. Like, I think that's clearly their dynamic. But horny guy, I don't even understand where you'd get
Well,
that.
it's true that he was developing like spiritual awareness, but I feel like the reason
But all his
that
friends
happened,
did, and
yeah,
that
no, the
was
reason that happened was just so that they like be able to like understand what the hell's going on with Ichigo, and B, so that like later on when like Shunsui comes to like meet them and like tell them about Ichigo's situation for that scene, they could see him and talk to him.
yeah. No, it's just cool. No, I like it's just cool that like uh they're Ichigo's friends and they're worried about him and they don't know what's going on. They've been able to bridge the gap themselves and see part of Ichigo's world. It's cool. I like it. So yeah. I know it's the Tatsuki thing is the equivalent of like Deku should have been Batman or like this was a critique I saw in some Naruto vid, like the Naruto should have been like more comedy focused with Naruto, Choji, Kiba, and Shikamaru. And it's like, no, I'll go write a fanfic. I don't care. Or like people thought Ichigo's sister should have gotten powers too, because again, she was spirit sensitive.
I mean, I almost see with Karin, like she seems like the most plausible for like a character who should have
I
gotten
mean, technically,
powers.
she does fight hollows. She kicks them with a soccer ball. That's true. She does. She does. That's
She does do
canon.
that.
It's
She
on the
does do
stupid
that.
little volume, the stupid little back of the chapter extras. We see that she was doing that.
Yeah. All right. So, next is before I say this, if you're one of these people, I forgive you. I forgive you.
You're the guy who burned his volumes. We're sorry for you.
uh, Ichigo X Rukia is a ship that some people feel very strongly about, and
hmm
if you believe this, I forgive you. The
Because
anime did indeed
oh,
like
the anime is so for blame.
yeah, no, if you were dissatisfied with having Ichigo end up with Orihime and you were like an anime only watcher, I forgive you. Because the anime did remove like a ton of their scenes and outright change them. Like the very first scene that Orihime has in the anime is like she's scared of Ichigo. Like they bump in the hallway and then she like acts scared and then like just like scoots away. So it's just like oh she doesn't vibe with Ichigo at all. She's just like kind of scared of him. But in the manga, it's I love Ichigo's funny face. He looks so cool and handsome and funny. Aha, I like she's such a quirky girl. It's like
Oh no,
very
what
different.
the anime staff did to Ruki, Orihime is so weird. Like Orihime, like another really good one that was I'm pretty sure it's cut from the anime is her imagining her frolicking with Ichigo at the park and then that turning into the race where she becomes a boxing champion. That first of all, funny as shit. I love you, Orihime. Secondly, it's like a lot of those little scenes of Orihime's clear affection for Ichigo are cut, and it's weird. I don't know why they did that.
Yep. And yeah, like yeah, I have like a whole thread on Twitter here that I found of just like this is all the difference between the anime and the manga, and a lot of
You
it
should
is
link that
yeah
under
no
the video because
I
I
will
don't
link
know
that.
all of them.
Yeah, I will link that. I'm wondering if there's like a really good example here that I can.
Because it's bad. It's the anime. Oh, I know there's one where Orihime's talk with Ichigo about if he should go save Rukia. They changed the wording in the anime. Super strange.
Oh yeah, no, like I remember like I think I found it here. It's just like it's Rukia saying like, listen, he's a monster now. You must slay him. Whereas in the manga, it's like if you don't slay him, he will kill Orihime. And he's like, Ichigo's like, nope, can't have that.
Yeah, it's a lot of weird things to cut with
So
that.
like again, like I forgive you. You watch the anime. The
Mm.
anime gave a very different impression, but it's time to grow up. You've presumably you've read the manga if you were complaining about it when the manga ended. Grow up, read, and learn to overcome your your shortcomings. I guess I don't know where I'm taking.
Yeah, no, because it's just Puff. I remember the first time I went and like read Bleach start to end a few years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I remember the thing that I couldn't get over, like early Soul Society and Substitute Soul Reaper, I couldn't get over how fucking obvious it was.
No, it's very obvious. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just the anime made it not obvious.
Yeah, I think part of it is the Naruto Sakura problem, where it's like, wait a minute, you saw but the first girl I saw and the first guy I saw are supposed to make kissy. That's the rule.
Alright, like I guess that like Ichigo's dad was a Soul Reaper and he fell in love with a human. But like, I feel like if Ichigo and Rukia happened, they would kinda have to like address the fact that they basically live in two different worlds if this was gonna be the serious romance that the story ends with, right? Like, if you think their romance was like something that was building throughout the story, then they should have seriously discussed that at some point, but that never did happen.
Or even just the fact, like, as people point out, it's cool that the person Ichigo marries and lives with on like a meta level is not the one tied to Soul Society, but the one from his hometown. Oh, other thing, Orihime and Ichigo are both bullied for having brownish, orangish hair. I say brownish because early on Orihime's hair is way more brown.
Yeah.
It becomes like more red, but it's like, yeah, they also have like that bond, both being like the sad outcasts who lost their parents and then got bullied for having weird hair.
Yeah, I remember that was one thing I really liked about Bleach when I first watched the anime, because I have red hair. And of course it's very different for like me and then like someone in Japan who like,
yeah,
like,
you're
like me it's
Canadian.
like haha ginger no soul, but over there it's like haha you bleached your hair, you're a delinquent, fuck you.
Or it's like teachers harassing you to dye your hair black.
Yeah. So I thought that was neat. I'm like, oh, anime protagonist that has red hair and is bullied for it? I don't see that anywhere else. All right, so next is this is kind of another shipping thing. Did you know that Ulqiorra wanted to fuck Orihime?
I think best guy ever had that. A lot of people, which is weird because it's like
this is another one where like I forgive you because of a particular word choice.
Because you don't think that there can be multiple uses of the word lust is quite literally the start and end. Oh, and heart. Like love. Like you can't think of any other usage of words like lust and heart.
Yeah, so like basically like when they use the word lust, it's because hollows are empty inside, they feel nothing, so they seek out like people they loved when they were alive to like eat them to soothe their own pain. And Ulqiorra is like the kind of the logical extreme of that, where like he's empty and he wants to make other people feel empty. But then
like his habit where whenever he attacks people,
he makes a hole like in the same. He makes a hole in like the same place like his hole. No, like he makes a hole in the same place his is, which implies like he wants to make people like him, which is kind of cool because his poem is about how the realization that things are meaningless is in of itself meaningless. So like according to his own logic, him doing that would be meaningless, but he still does it anyway because he wants people to like empathize with him, or he wants them to just feel the same way he does because he's a piece of shit. But then through interacting with Orihime, he learns that like, oh, there's something else that can fill that gap, and that is not wanting to fuck someone. No, it's having a relationship with someone.
It's having a bond of any kind.
Because that's what a heart is in Bleach. Like, you have that scene with Kain and Rukia where he asks like, hey, where do you think the heart is? And she's like, in the chest, right? And he's like, no. He like puts his fist like in between them and says, it's here, because like a heart is when two people have a connection to one another. So that's why Ulqiorra like, reaches out and says, oh, this is the heart, because his arm is in between him and Orihime now.
Oh, and Puff, that fight's so good because one of, I think, Kain's or someone else's rules is you can't die alone. You have to die around allies, because then who else will pick up your heart? And originally, Ichigo and Ulqiorra were going to fight alone, but Orihime comes. And by coming, she gets to receive Ulqiorra's heart.
Yeah.
So good! Good fights. Good fight.
Yeah, I love Ulqiorra. He was good. All right, so next is just the should have ended after Aizen take, which I feel like it just runs into the same problem a lot of should it ended at blank takes tend to have.
This one's even worse because it's not even like Ichigo achieved his dream. Because again, as bad criticism points out, Ichigo is a passive character. I'm gonna argue with the passive character thing in 5 seconds. Super Eye Patch Wolf has the gall to say that Ichigo is a passive character, therefore bad, even though one of his favorite anime of all time, one of his favorite anime characters of all time, is Yusuke Hirameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho.
But to be fair, Yusuke's funnier than Ichigo, so...
He's funnier, but I don't like him. No, but the point is, like, you can't complain about passive characters and then with Ichigo and then bitch about and then love Yusuke when Ichigo is the shonen protagonist that is the most like Yusuke.
Yeah. So, like, again, like, the problem with most should have ended after blank takes is just that, well, what about these, like, 20 dozen hanging plot threads that we have to address? Yeah, like, did you want the manga to end without, like, forget about, like, major stuff, did you want it to end without seeing, like, Rukia's Bankai, or Old Man Yama's, or Shunsui's, or whatever the heck?
Yeah, and then major plots. Of course, the most major one is, hey, guys, what the fuck is that weird old man inside Ichigo? Who the fuck was that?
Yeah, what was the dealio with that? I mean, I guess, again, I guess just the thing where, like, going through it the first time, most people assumed, and this is what I assumed, is just, okay, one's the Reaper powers, one's the Hollow powers, and that's just it, and that was all there was to it. Which, it could have been,
or like another.
If that's where it ended, then that's probably how it would have ended if that's where it did end. Right?
But that would have made a lot of not sense. Another one is like one you like is when Zangetsu criticizes Ichigo for not using the tassel. He literally says, "It's like, well, wait a minute. Why would Zangetsu give a shit about how well you use the tassel if he's the hollow power? Why would he care how well you use the sword? It's because he is the sword."
Yeah. So again, like, just same problem all other should have ended after blank takes have. So next is
also when Ichigo gets his Soul Reaper powers back, he's wearing a hollow mask.
Yeah. All right. So dude, you know who's my favorite character in all of Bleach besides, of course, Tatsuki, who is a goddess and we all love her.
The Zero Espada.
Yes, I love Yami because he's a fucking liar.
No, the thing. No, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. He didn't know. He didn't know that one guy said that.
He is a liar. He's a liar.
Here's the thing. It's almost perfect. Because here's the thing. Because the twist is, shocker, the Espada aren't 10 through 1. It's 9 through 0. And here's the thing. That almost could have gone on without a hitch. Because Yami himself is consistent. Whenever he talks about himself... No, he is. We've been over this. When he says 10, he says, I am the 10th Arrancar. When he says which Espada he says he's the 0th Espada. So Yami himself is consistent.
But he also calls himself an Espada when he has the 10 tattoo on.
Yeah, well, that's because he is the Espada. He's the 0th
He
Espada.
Literally has a scene where it's like, you're the captain of the 10th company? I'm a 10 too! And then like, who told you the Arrancar? Who told you the Espada were numbered 1 through 10?
Puff, are you illiterate? He's the 10th Arrancar and the 0th Espada. Both.
But Arrancar are all like numbered. They're all numbered. And we're told...
Yeah, but he has 2 numbers because he's so cool.
Grimmjow is not just a Espada number 6, he's also a Arrancar number 6, okay?
Oh yeah, no, but the point is, he's not
Grimmjow the only one that
I'm a Arrancar Sexta. He says, I am the Sexta Espada, because Espada is a title with a lot of pride. No, Yami is consistent. You are wrong about Yami. Who's not consistent is one of Grimmjow's little ones. No, he's not. When did he lie?
He intentionally misled us. He intentionally misled the audience.
No, the only guy who lied is Grimmjow's goon, who says the Espada are ranked 10 through 1. He's a liar. That's a lying little fuck. Who didn't lie is Yami. Yami was consistent from beginning to end. He was a little trickster. You could call him a little trickster, but he didn't lie.
I'm gonna be honest. I think Koopa was just a complete just making it up as he fucking goes along.
Well, if he made it up as he went along, then how come Yami's the only Espada who calls himself a Arrancar?
No. You can't convince me that this wasn't just like I need a strong villain at the last second bullshit, and it wasn't built up very well. But it is so funny that I love it anyway.
No, but then how come every Espada says, like, I am the Sexta Espada, I am the Octava Espada, except for Yami, who says, I am the 10th Arrancar? It's like, that's weird. Why would he say that? It's because he's not the 10th Espada. He's the 10th, or sorry, he's not the 10th Espada. He's the 0th Espada. Yami's. I think
Okay.
he planned it. I think he probably just fucked it up along the way, or maybe he didn't have it all figured out. But I think he did somewhat have an idea there. Clearly, he fucked it up a bit because Grimjow's goon, who just straight up said they're labeled 10 through 1, which is wrong.
Yeah. All right. So, speaking of like
Or
lie.
he knows that the one labeled 10 isn't a Spada, even though it's not the right number.
All right. Speaking of liars, did you know that Gin lied about his Bankai?
Okay, Geen is just a liar, and I love
Yeah.
him for
All
it.
right. So this is just like
Geen
obviously
lies,
Gin
isn't it?
lied. Gin says that he lied, but this is a power scaling take because it's just people like like to say that Bleach characters are like multiple times faster than light and stuff like that. And but like the big like counter argument to that is Gin says his Bankai is 500 times faster than sound, and it's like one of the fastest things in the series up to that
Well,
point.
first of
Maybe
all,
the
he was
fastest.
lying about that, even though he said that would have made it the fastest Zanpakuto.
Yeah.
But
But
then he clarifies, I lied. It's not that fast.
yeah,
I
but
was
the
lying.
thing is,
Said
like,
that.
when I first saw that scene, I the impression I had was that like, oh, he was overplaying its speed, like exaggerating to make it sound more
Oh,
impressive to hide
isn't
what
the power
to
scaling
hide
take that he underplays it?
Yeah,
Isn't
yeah.
that the power
Let
scaling
me
take?
let me talk. So, my impression was that like he was like exaggerating its speed and its
No, that's
length
obviously what he was doing. That's
in
what he
order
was
to
doing.
like hide what was actually special about his Zanpakuto. But the power scaling take to make like light speed consistent is no. He was downplaying it and he was fucking with Ichigo. Like what? Like he just wanted to like I'm gonna blow this kid's mind. Hey Ichigo, did you know that we're faster than sound? And then Ichigo's teenage brain cannot comprehend that fact, and he's like, oh my fucking god, what? Faster than sound? Humans can't move faster than sound. And Gin just like smiling to himself. Like,
That is the power scale take. The in-universe correct take is, yeah, Geen lied. First, he lied about how long it was, then he lied about how fast it was. Because he literally has a line where he said,
you're
yeah,
fast,
my
Ichigo,
Zanpakuto...
but did you know that you're faster than sound?
No, but you know what's interesting to think about? Geen said he lied, and he said, I actually don't have the longest Zanpakuto or the fastest, so we can assume it's not as long as he said or as fast as he said. But the thing is, Geen's Zanpakuto, even if it's not as long as he said, is still really fucking long. So when he says with complete confidence it's not the longest, that means he knows one that's longer.
I'm willing to bet it's maybe like Zenbonzakura if you like lined up all the flower petals, or like maybe
Oh,
Yamamoto's
that'd be
if you
fun.
just like had
Or
like all the
maybe just
fire
like
lined up
some
or something.
maybe just some ex-captain who actually had like a long Zanpakuto.
Yeah. All right. So next is one thing that we just like added like an hour ago. Uh, People don't like Soi Fon, and it's fine, sure, whatever. It's just that like when people say like she's the worst, I don't really see where all the vitriol comes from.
Until we got 8 minutes where he said, why didn't Soi Fon go up to Urahara and say, I'm sorry, you're that guy? And it's
Yeah,
like,
why
oh.
did she not get on her hands and knees and kiss that man's ass? How could she not?
And it's like, oh, the reason is because she's a woman who doesn't like their favorite character. I specify woman because Mayuri also fucking hates Urahara. He hates him way more than Soi Fon does. No, that's it. It's just
I'm gonna be honest, Soi Fon was never the most interesting character,
no, she's not. But I like her.
But she is fun and she's hot. So what more could I
yeah,
ask for?
and she's good. No, it's quite literally. It's pretty obvious that the reason people don't like her, at least the reason a lot of people don't like her, is because they're an Urahara stan who doesn't like that this snarky short girl doesn't like their favorite
She's kind
guy.
of mean. She is kind of a bitch. So if you don't like characters like that, sure, she's mean. You don't have to like
It's always an Urahara fan is the part that always gives it away.
All right, so this is something that actually makes me sad about Bleach, and it's Chad. Because Chad's just really cool, and I wish he did more, but he just doesn't.
Yeah. The main Chad thing is we already talked about it. He obviously got his final fight cut.
Yeah. Like, they have that scene where it's like, oh, you were supposed to have a fight here, but because the manga's ending in a volume half because Kubo's dying, we're never going to really see it, are we?
Yeah. So Chad's final fight obviously got cut, and then I could see why people were unhappy with him showing in a wrong car. I was content. He almost punched Ichigo in the face, and Ichigo's like, sorry, I'll be nice to you. And then he beat an ex-Espada, so, like, pretty strong. Stronger than, like, all the goons, so, like, stronger than Soi Fon's first opponent. And then,
like, based on that, Chad is probably stronger than Ikkaku with his Bankai.
Yeah. And then like the one thing you do got, and then like I believe that entirely. He literally had to train against Bankai to get strong.
Yeah.
And then like even when Noitora fucked him up, in Chad's defense, when his final punch got blocked, Noitora's little goon did say, "Sir, all his spiritual pressure was in that. If that hit you," and then Noitora's like, "What? You gonna finish that fucking sentence?" So even if it wouldn't have killed Noitora, the implication was Chad's full power punch would have fucked him up. And for the record, just more defense of Chad, because like people forget, because you're like, oh, Ichigo could have fucked up Noitora. Ichigo evolved rapidly during the raid on Hueco Mundo. Because if Ichigo fought Noitora at the start of the raid, he would have lost.
He would have, yeah.
Because he was rapidly evolving.
Alright, so, I think, because of the way the story ended up being, like, Fullbring was kind of like the last good opportunity to give Chad a cool thing to do, and I like how he's used in that arc. I have really no complaints, just that, because now the story is what it is, it could have been here, but then it wasn't, and it could have been at the end, but it also wasn't, so it just feels like a real shame that Chad didn't get to be as cool as he could be. But ultimately, it really is just a lesser version of my, like, complaint with, like, Seven Deadly Sins and a lot of its side characters. Because they will, like, give them these little power-ups, try and, like, pretend they're still relevant, but then, like, they'll lose to some random fuck-off dragon that doesn't matter, even though it's the big scene where they're getting the power-up. Whereas Chad at least got to, like, get a fight against an opponent that mattered. Like again, this is an extra spot, and this guy is actually like a strong guy worth like.
And he got a cool, very very cool attack. So cool. Yeah. Such a cool punch.
I know. So like again, then, like at the end of the day, like that's cool and good. I just wish there was more cool and good moments for Chad.
No.
It's not like it's not like 7 Days Since where it's like, well, you just took away all the gravitas of this cool power up moment by having to fight a character that literally didn't matter.
You ready for the fun cope?
What's the fun cope?
Chad's fist called like the right hand of the devil or whatever, and we're going into the hell arc.
Oh.
Not gonna happen, but hilarious, very fun idea.
Yeah. All right. So next is the visor.
Oh, even though other thing is even though Fullbring like wasn't a Chad arc, the development of how Chad's power works in that arc, I really like.
Yeah, like again, I like how he's used in that arc. It's just that like because like the way the story.
No, I mean like the where Chad explains that his Fullbring comes through pride in his skin. It's like, oh my god, Chad literally went, "Your racism makes me stronger. I love him so much."
Yeah, that was cool. So, how long is this recording going to be now?
Oh, we've been doing this for a while.
Okay, we're like an hour and 20 minutes in. All right. So next is
I already did Yoruichi.
Yeah.
So Arc Seperation.
Arc Seperation is it's very nice that
you want to bitch about the visors.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I just thought the visors, like Shinji's also great. It's kind of like the same with Squad Zero. Like Shinji, their leader, is like great, and I love him. The rest are just you could take
like they differ. Like the guy with the Tekken, he trains Hisagi, and there's some fun stuff there. Love, I like his name, and I like his big club. Portal guy gets to fight someone, so good for him. It's kind of the whole thing of like they as a group are interesting, and their concept is interesting, and their leader is cool, but as individuals, they don't get a ton of focus. Yeah. Like I think they have fun personality. Like Hiyori is a fun little shit. I love that she hates Shinji even though they are not from the same company, and their beef, the origin of their beef is never explained. It's like, are they from the same class? Did they used to go together? Did they grow up near each other when they were younger? We never know, and I love that. I love that they just have this unsatiated
I think Shinji's just very like self-content and snarky, and like she just hates that.
I know, but she's comfortable enough to jump him even though he's a captain, which is interesting.
Yeah. All right. So next is Arc Seperation, which is I just want to say it's very nice when authors like say where arcs begin or end, so we don't have like a fucking One Piece debate about like the post Enies lobby arc.
Yeah, I mean they try to do that with the Arrancar. I hate how they're like, oh, Fake Karakura Town arc, the Arrancar invading Karakura Town arc, the invading Hueco Mundo arc. No. It's called the Arrancar arc, and it's like one of the longest things of all time. Get it right?
Yeah. All right. Next is Ichigo should have rematched Grand Fisher.
I like the way Grand Fisher.
I do think that, like, you could have had a very cool moment if Ichigo had to fight Grand Fisher, then, like, defeat him while, like, not doing it solely for revenge or whatever. Like, you could have done something with that, but I'm also very satisfied with how it did end up with Isshin doing it
I
instead.
think could have been cool to add to it, because I really like what Isshin said, and I really like that Ichigo didn't get revenge, but I think what would have been cool is if we see Ichigo learning what happened to Grand Fisher, and him accepting it without being upset that he lost out on revenge.
Yeah.
I think that could have been a cool, but otherwise I'm happy with it.
That seems to be like the big trend with like Bleach, is that like the biggest problems I have with it is just stuff that's not in it. Like, I just want more of it.
Bleach would have been better if it was longer. The manga that ended early would have been cool if it didn't end early.
Well, I mean, like of course the ending is like the ending is like that, like times 10. But like, I'm just saying, like, arcs in general, like, oh, I would like to learn more about like this or that character, or like giving them a moment here.
And a lot of them is like, I think that's because Bleach rides a fine line between like telling you just enough to understand while leaving enough mystery for a lot of really fun speculation. And sometimes you could say maybe it gives it a little bit too much mystery. But I would say 90% of the time, and more than 90% of the time, it does great.
Yeah.
What is next?
Isshin is a bad dad.
I don't. What do you want him to do?
Well, I guess like the idea is just that like he should have, like, because he knew Urahara, he should have like asked him for some like anti-hollow repellent and sprayed it around his house every weekend or something.
Isn't
like
Urahara like a famous scam artist? Most of his shit doesn't work.
Well, I mean, I imagine he's a nice enough guy that like because he has like a vested interest in Isshin, he'd want to keep him alive.
Mm-hmm. Well, another thing is also,
although like another thing is just like Ichigo's mom presumably would have been keeping them safe up until she died. So like,
so it's really, what did he do in the last 10 years? The answer is half grief for one. No, it's also unclear if shit like, did he even know how much danger Ichigo was in beyond like, oh, high spirit pressure, a hollow might potentially jump him.
Yeah.
And for all we know, Isshin had complete faith in whatever Soul Reaper was assigned to Karakura Town before Rukia. Maybe that guy was a fucking lad. Because Karakura Town is known for having more hollows than other places, so maybe that guy was a badass before Aizen like kicked him out.
Yeah. All right. So next is Byakuya would have died if the fangirls didn't save him.
Is that a theory?
That is like a very popular like theory in weekly reading, because like Byakuya, when he fights as not the fear guy,
seems dead.
Yeah, like he gets like brutalized, and he looks like he could have died there, but it turns out like 3 chapters later he wasn't. So what people think happened was the chapter came out, all the fangirls screamed, "No, Byakuya-kun, how could you do this, Kubo?" and like sent him death threats, so he brought him back. Which,
funny.
The thing is, like, I doubt that's possible because, again, Shonen Jump artists usually have to input their chapter like 3 weeks early, so presumably Kubo knew what was gonna happen like 3 or 4 chapters later. So I'm guessing, like, and like he is revealed to be fine, like what, like 5,
basically right
chapters
after the battle.
Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 chapters after he talked with Ichigo, right, and told him to save Soul Society. I think so.
Also, I like Byakuya being alive because his talk with Rukia after she does her Bankai is phenomenal. I like that scene so much.
Yeah, like, again, like, it's a nice, like, don't you want him to like resolve his thing with Rukia before he dies? Like, I feel like that was kind of the obvious plan. And it's not even like he's the only captain who got like royally fucked up during the raid. So
hell, Hitsugaya literally died and got brought back to life. He literally died. Hitsugaya was dead. That's a thing that happened. Kira too.
So there was definitely a huge like fan outrage when Byakuya died, because he's a long time like fan favorite, right? But if whether or not like the fangirl screaming is literally what brought him back or not, I don't know if there's any proof of that. But it's just
if only the power scaling bros had enough power to bring Yamamoto back with their whining.
That would have been awesome. The power scalers whine to Kubo, "Dude, Yamamoto was so badass. You should have bring him back. Why are we gonna do that to him?" Oh.
Yeah, it's funny. All right, what's next? Unohana split personality. This is a tweet I saw.
Yeah.
Um,
Just
we
no.
talked about this in a One Piece video. Unohana, first of all, she's kind of putting on a face, but also she just shows like her caring, peaceful side. She's enjoying the peace, like Yamamoto. She's really similar to Yamamoto. They both act calm and nice to enjoy the peace, but every once in a while they kind of slips and they let out their inner "I used to be a war
Yeah.
criminal."
I mean, I guess to be fair, like when people say like it was really like too much of a heel turn when she turned out to be a battle crazed maniac, because like the impression you kind of get with most of her like oh no, don't piss off Unohana scenes is like
It's
don't
just
make
that she's
mom.
strong.
Like sure that too, but like she's like vaguely strong, of course, because she's a captain already. But like also like the impression I got is just don't make mom mad. Like even if you,
But I think
even if you
that's
could,
why the twist
even
is
if yeah,
effective.
I know it's like even if you could beat up your mother, you never would. You don't have the balls to. She says one word, you're not. You're gonna stand
Yeah,
down. That's your mom over there.
yeah. No, but I think that's why it works so well. Because at first we're just like, oh, she's just like a strong, strict, nice lady who's kind of holding back. The real that no. She's fucking unhinged is why it's a good twist.
Yeah,
Because
and
it's like, holy shit, lady.
yeah, and also like it's like even if it wasn't necessarily like foreshadowed very like clearly, just like her having that relationship with Kenpachi is probably the best direction you could have taken her character. Because like Squad 11 and 4 has that relationship where like 11 Squad 11 hates 4 because like look at those little wimpy healer dudes, but then their leader Kenpachi, the person he looks up to most is a healer, and that's kind of cool and interesting. And also with Noitora's like a women being stronger than a man, disgusting, and then Kenpachi would not care because again the person he looks up to most is a lady.
Yeah. All right. Next is your take here is probably gonna feel really stupid to me.
All right, so I'm not sure if this is just a byproduct of like Bleach like prematurely ending, because like it's easy to imagine maybe we would have gotten like another like brief flashback with
The
Yuabak.
Snow King is explained a lot more in the novels, I promise.
Yeah, so like the impression I kind of get from the Soul King in general is just that like dude, this is like he can't be a good for a character in like the straightforward sense, but he would make a cool Dark Souls boss.
I don't know what that means.
All right, so like I guess to the more apt comparison is Elden Ring, just because they're more thematically similar, like a god splitting himself off into different pieces and stuff. But I just mean like you're told almost nothing about him, but like you just kind of have to infer based on things like okay, so like why does the Soul King, who like all the Soul Reapers like worship, why does his left arm and his heart want like the Soul Society to crumble? Why do you think that? Or like when his left arm says I've always been a Quincy, how does that what does that tell you about the
Okay,
relationship
no, this is
between?
what I was expecting.
Yeah,
Which
so
is we're just like, I think you're too Dark Souls brained because I had the exact same thought, except instead of comparing it to Dark Souls, I just compared it to real life mythology.
yeah, no, so like
I was like, oh,
when
the Soul King's a lot like real mythology.
yeah, so like when you see the left arm say I've always been a Quincy, what's that tell you about like his relationship to Yuhabak or the Soul
and
King?
you
Who was like the
about telling
who is there like a
who
chicken
says
or
the Soul
egg
King is his
situation?
dad.
Yeah, or like who's like it was like a chicken and egg situation kind of going on. So like again like it's kind of left entirely up to you to like just interpret like at least until you read the novels, I guess. But like
The novel kind of just like clarifies what you would already have,
yeah. So like I just think it's
and then adds like some fucked up shit to it too.
yeah. So like I feel like it's like Bleach having one character and it's like their deity, like supreme deity god person being that character is actually kind of like really cool, and I like it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so
All right.
like the reason why like Elden Ring specifically comes to mind because like one of the biggest twists in Elden Ring, I'll be vague, not to spoil, two very important characters in the Pantheon are the same person, and that's like the biggest twist, but still
I
to
love
this.
that I know what that is because I've seen Shas and Mocha play too much Elden Ring while I do other
Yeah,
things.
so but like what exactly like were they always one person or the two people who became one person or like what's the relationship between one another or whatever is like that's completely up to you to infer, and it's really cool when stories do that
Nice.
sometimes. So like if I feel like if Bleach was gonna do this with any character, the Soul King is like the perfect pick because like he's the big grand literal like age old deity character. So I thought that was kind of neat. Even if it was like a byproduct of Bleach prematurely, that was probably like the one maybe cool thing that might have resulted from that.
Let's see, what's next? People don't like Ichigo's final Bankai, even though that's like kind of the point, is that it didn't fucking work.
I really loved it just because, like, you knew it was just gonna be a Getsuga Tensho. It was just gonna be a bigger, cooler Getsuga Tensho. But like, just
would have had Quincy Reishi and Hollow Reishi. Whoa.
Yeah, like I feel like just seeing that, like, just the scene where Ichigo's like Bankai snaps in two, like, just that moment is like so mind-breakingly awesome that like it's worth it in and of itself. Because like people always people always like to bring up like the anime did this well, like when Sosuke Aizen, like, you know, does his big heel turn and he stops Ichigo's main theme song, like that's awesome. And the manga it is the same, and this is the exact same energy. Like you like literally you're like, oh, it's the final Bankai, the ultimate Zangetsu, and then you turn the page and say, what? Wait, what?
Yeah, great. And also, it's cool how it's like, oh, Ichigo doesn't beat Yubak by constantly evolving further and further. He beats Yubak by going back to his roots and using the most simple version of his evolved sword.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So again, I honestly feel like the design itself, like, of Ichigo's final form is like all you could want for his Bankai, because it, like, just, you know, you can infer what exactly it means about his character and stuff just based on that. Like, oh, everything's finally become one. He's finally like perfectly balanced and in tune with all of his different
the chain kind of looks like he could shoot arrows from it.
It kind of looks like a Quincy bow. It's got like white on the outside to Quincy's and black on the inside for Soul Reaper, and you know the chain is associated with hollows. Presumably his full bring is somewhere in there.
The hill's gone. That's interesting.
Yeah. All right.
This is full because like his thing looks like the hill. That is interesting. All right.
Yeah. All right. So next is I think this is a pretty fair take. It's that Yurobak killing Ichigo's mom is too indirect. Like, this is kind of like the Grand Fisher crowd, I think, where it's like, I feel like this isn't a satisfying enough, like, way to end that plot thread with Ichigo's mom, him fighting a guy who indirectly did something that, like, kind of accidentally led to his mom being killed.
No, I get it, but my take is, I think it's cool, because at this point, Ichigo and us as readers are, like, mature enough to know that Hollows are, like, barely even people. They are lost souls that just need to be purified. Because any crime you do as like a hollow, like any crime you do, like, it's clarified. Any crime you do as a hollow does not reflect negatively on your soul when it's decided if you go to hell or not.
Yeah, and like so hollows themselves just seem to like they're literally compared to animals, and like they all like the Anrankos have that whole animal theme because they're basically humans who descended and were reincarnated as like beastly animals.
And Grand Fisher is literally an anglerfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grand Fisher is literally an anglerfish. It's like Izzy-Kuro and Saikaki, yes. But I think we're at the point where, like, Ichigo's greatest foe just being, like, just a regular hollow is, like, we're past. That's not...
dude, I just realized this is, like, such a, like, direct Buddhist thing. So, like, if no one exercises your soul or whatever, and you become a hollow, which you could kind of interpret as, like, someone not praying enough for you or mourning you
you
enough.
Go to the animal realm.
Yeah, you go to the animal realm. Because, like, no one blessed your soul when you passed away. And that's literally a Buddhist thing. you get reincarnated as a kangaroo. And you have to live as a kangaroo for a bit, because no one...
it's literally that.
Yeah, because no one...
Yeah, it's literally that. It's cool. Bleach is so fucking Buddhist. Holy shit.
Yeah, it is.
Bleach is probably the most popular manga where English speakers are losing out on so much of the meaning of what's going on.
Yeah, dude, I wish
Kubo loves his fancy names.
I think like a Bleach theory community would be like 10 times more fun than a One Piece one.
Oh my god, I'd love that.
Because like you have like all these people
all have so much meaning.
Yeah, because you have these people who love being like, dude, look at, like, you know, all this like Christian symbolism here, or like, dude, look at the Hanuman reference there. It's like, dude, you would love Bleach so much. Literally the final villain, literally the literally the final villain is named after like the Judeo-Christian god, like one of his older names, and the German word for like awake. So like it, and like, you know, we see a literal Bible that one of his followers had when he was like, you know, bedridden and alive. Like he said, "I'm afraid to meet my maker." Like clearly the Quincy's are like kind of based off like sort of like a Judeo-Christian vibe. Like that's why that's called like a Quincy cross, because they're kind of like that. Yeah. And the
It's cool. I like it.
and the thing that Yubak wants to make is like an eternal paradise, which is kind of more like the
Not a
Christian.
paradise. Not a paradise. Not he did not want to make a paradise. He just wanted to end the cycle. That would not have made a paradise by any
Listen,
fucking metric.
he thinks it would be pretty cool in a
I
paradise.
don't even think he thinks that. I think he knows what he was doing. I think he knew he was going to turn the world to the equivalent of spiritual primordial goo. I think he just didn't care.
But like anyway, like he kind of wants to make like a static afterlife, basically.
Yeah.
Where like everyone goes there and then you just stay there for all eternity, which is kind of like how heaven is described.
Yeah, you can't really live or die. You kind of just exist.
Yeah. All right.
You're constant.
We were talking about Yawatch killing Ichigo's mom, so like getting back to that. I like it for how like it infers Yubak's character, because like ultimately like it shows agency on his part that like I want all the unworthy Quincy's to be quelled, and you know, according to his definition, Ichigo's mom, who was cohorting with the Soul Reaper and stuff like that and like left the family, was one of those unworthy Quincy's. Yeah. So like clearly it says something about Yubak's character.
And there's also the irony of, but the way he quells the bad Quincy is by taking their powers back into him, because the bad ones are still from him.
Yeah. So again, like it even adds like, you know, like it adds like a layer of emotional like pathos when Ichigo has to fight the guy, and so instead of just literally being like the literal asshole that Ichigo never met before, it's like, oh.
Well, it's also cool. It also helps that Yubak calls himself Ichigo's dad. Like yeah. he does talk about himself that way.
Yeah, and he talks about that with like all the Quincy's. He does with Uryu, which you know, I get like it's another thing about Bleach premature ending. I would love to have more Uryu in that final arc.
No, same. No, all the main cast didn't get their final fights. So too bad, but whatever.
Yeah. I feel like it's very funny for Uryu because you have like Mayuri and then Urahara and like the three captains fighting.
I think you talked about this at the beginning. Yeah, it is really
They each get like a volume for their big fight, but then Uryu, it's like he gets like half a chapter for his, and it just feels very like lopsided. Like Yubak's right hand man, his final fight gets half a chapter. It's funny.
Nice.
I wish there was a lot more to it.
Nice. All right, I think that's it for Bleach Opinions.
Yeah, I guess it is. So,
all right. Here are our next two planned things. One, as you all know, hopefully MHA's over. Give us MHA opinions.
Yeah.
Please, pretty please. Next, we have another Bleach thing planned. Do we all say what it is?
Yeah, we're gonna rank the Bleach poems.
So there's like, there's more Bleach volumes than Naruto volumes. I think there's 72. And each one starts with a poem from the POV of a character. Yeah. You want to rank all of them. That is going to be
I think some
absurd.
of them are not from the POV of the character. They're just like about the character.
I think the overall majority are.
Yeah, I think the overall majority are the POV. It's just I'm thinking of one in particular that I feel like is definitely not.
Maybe that was a translation thing then.
Maybe, but like it's Nemu's when you know during the Mayuri fight, and it's
oh, you're right, that is absolutely Kurosuchi's POV. You're right.
Yeah, and he's clearly it's clearly a poem about a man talking about his daughter. Clearly.
Yeah, interesting. Whatever, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
All right. Conclusion. Bleach good. Bleach is my third favorite manga.
I guess like we could cram this at the end of the tier list too. If there's any more like Bleach things you'd like to talk about, leave a comment and we'll talk about it at the end of the tier list or something.
Yes. We thankfully I don't think there's any comments we have to go over. One of the only Bleach comments I remember getting, literally someone just saying, "I like Bleach. I am excited to see you guys cover it." Something like that.
Yeah, cool. I hope we didn't disappoint.
MHA opinions though, please, for the love of God.
Yeah. Give us more.
Yeah, as all.
Alright, that is all. Goodbye.
Alright.
Also, I forgot to say this, but thank you, Chaz, for sending me this footage. My buddy Chaz is the one playing right now, and is the one who, you know, he who grabbed the Bleach mod. Thank you, Chaz. Thank you so much. I love you so much. Mwah. Almost forgot to add that. Love you, Chaz, even though you probably never watch, well, you'll never see this because I know you don't watch these videos.